So good afternoon again. I wanted to also create a quick video that kind of explains the process for creating a 3D pano from a 3D image. We've already discussed a little bit in previous videos how to do that, but I wanted to add a what if my 3D pano is too fuzzy or too hard to view. So let me walk you through that process. So here we have a patient that was recently acquired. This is actually our most recent 3D image, just acquired a little bit ago. You can see the image is a little bit darker, and as I just mentioned in my previous video, what I have preferred to do is change that. So I'm going to turn off the crisp filters. I'm going to decrease this level window so it gives me a little bit smoother image with less processing. So I could go up and hit save if I wanted to, but let's create the 3D pano so I can walk you through the process. So click on the 3D pano. There's no 3D pano. Now sometimes the image will actually create a 3D pano if the software has enough time to process it. So we're going to click. And now it's telling me what to do on the lower left. It's going to give me some prompts. So I'm just going to reposition this a little bit. You can see the patient's head is rotated just a little bit along the axial plane. So I'm going to rotate it a little. Now if you'll notice here I'm rotating it along the coronal plane, but I want to rotate it along the axial plane. So you see this? See how the cursor is changing as I'm rotating and moving it down? So now I'm going to rotate it around a little bit. Many people don't know that the cursor will do that. So rotate it in the coronal plane versus the axial plane. So make sure you, put that piece of information away. You may need it in the future. All right, here we don't need any rotation. You can see I'm rotating in the sagittal plane and then again rotating it in the axial plane. So this is about where I want it, right along the occlusal plane. I'm going to hit next. Now on the lower left, let me move my head out of the way here a little bit. It should be telling me what to do. Now where is my prompt? Okay, it's already calculated the image. Sorry, this is a newer software version, so I'm just a little behind the game. We just updated to 1.8, which is a nice software upgrade. So it's already got the OP, the orthopantomograph curve set up. Now if I wanted to, I could go and I could drag some of these in and out. You'll notice the image on the right is adjusting a little bit to compensate as I move these in and out. So I would suggest usually the computer gets it pretty darn close. But if you go in and adjust it, you can actually shorten these so it cuts off some of the TMJ if you don't need it. That's fine. For our intents and purposes, I'm just going to kind of leave it here. You could go in and tweak and adjust if you wanted to. Now the previous version, if you're on 1.7, you'll actually plot points. So you're going to plot where the third molar is on that lower right, then the cingulum of the canine, and then where the third molar is or was or should be on the lower left, and then it'll process it. Okay. So let's go next, and here's your 3D image. Now we get a lot of questions. I get emails and phone calls and texts about, this is so grainy, what can I do about it to increase it? Well, just like in the previous video, how I made things smoother, in this particular image set, you're going to want to process this a little bit. So we're going to click on this arrow down at the bottom, and then I'm going to add this crisp filter back in, and for this image, I'm going to drag it way up, right? So I can make this very crisp if I want to. This is 100% crisp. Now we've got some movement, we got a little bit of beam hardening here, some issues with artifact, but for all intents and purposes that's a decent pano. Now what I normally do at this point is I do a screen capture. So I'm going to go up and screenshot and capture the screen. Poof. Now that image, that panoramic will now show up here. And this is where you can annotate them without worrying about anything, and you can print them off. And now that I've screenshot this, it'll actually also show up on that main landing page in DTX Studio. So if you want to have an image that's easier for your oral surgeon to get to, screenshot it. I have to be careful how I say that. Screenshot the image so that you can see it on that landing page and they can double click on it and open it, and then your front office can more easily copy and paste it and move it into into your other software, whichever you have. Epic or CPS and CDR. So let me just take you back through the steps. To improve, we got to go back to 3D panoramic. To improve the sharpness, you're going to want to turn on the crisp. for a 3D pano. Turn on the crisp, right? Turn on the crisp. And then you can adjust these things up and down if you want to. If you want a really kind of a bright image, this is your contrast filter right here. The window is your contrast, and then the level controls basically your brightness. So whatever you're comfortable with. Now, what if I screw up the OP3D curve, the orthopantomograph curve? Well, up at the top, which is hidden right now because I don't want to show the patient's information, there's an Edit 3D Scan. So if you click on Edit 3D Scan, you can go and edit the OP curve again. So if you decide after making your 3D pan that you don't like it, you can edit it, right? So I'm going to hit cancel here, but if I didn't like it, I could edit it. So again, how do we get to that? You go to Edit 3D Scan. Right, now I'm going to go straight up here. There's an Edit 3D Scan button, again, that's hiding because of the patient name there. There's also a measure, and then there's a diagnose. So I'm going to click back to diagnose. This is where we normally are. So hopefully that's been helpful. Like I said, we get a lot of questions where people are asking, how do I improve the sharpness of these panoramics? It looks a little weird to me. It looks a little blurry. The crisp is your friend right here. Okay? So hopefully that's been helpful. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and if you have any questions, go ahead and message me through the app here, or send me an email, or give me a call or a text. Thanks. Bye.